Hey guys, this is Ash with Fight Bulletin, and let's talk the pound for pound list. Shakur Stevenson just released his top 10 pound for pound fighters, and this might just be one of the most accurate lists to date, with the exception of the placement of a few fighters here and there. The list goes as follows from 10 to 1. Coming in at number 10 is the IBF, WBC, and lineal light heavyweight champion Artur Beterbiev, with a perfect knockout ratio and record of 15-0. Beterbiev cemented himself as the top light heavyweight after a knockout over Alexander Gvozdyk last fall. Apart from that, Beterbiev has had quite the amateur background and an Olympic victory over Michael Hunter, but an eventual loss to Usyk. Next on the list is the hardest puncher in boxing and possibly the greatest puncher in boxing history, the former WBC heavyweight champion of the world, Deontay Wilder. It's debatable between Wilder and Joshua, as both have had a loss this past year, but Wilder clearly lost to a much superior fighter when comparing Fury and Louise, although Joshua redeemed himself in a decisive way. At number 8, we have the mythical Manny Pacquiao. Yes, I describe Pacquiao as mythical. This man is an 8-division champion and has stood the test of time, seemingly adapting his fight style with age. With an impressive victory over Keith Thurman last summer, he became the WBA welterweight champion. Between his political career and boxing, he's been able to come back time and time again and show us why he is one of the GOATs of the sport. Next up is the 3-division champion, Naoya Inoue. With a record of 19-0, he's probably one of the most exciting finishers in boxing with an impressive 16 knockouts, and has recently defeated Donaire to win the World Boxing Super Series and the Muhammad Ali Trophy. I don't think anyone can debate Inoue's position on the pound-for-pound list. Here's where the list gets a little interesting. At number 6, Stevenson placed Errol Spence, who is the unified welterweight champion. Prior to his car accident this past winter, Spence has had exciting victories over Sean Porter and Mikey Garcia. It's arguable he should be higher in the list, as Bud is much higher on the list as well. But let's see how he comes back in his return fight from the accident. He's looked impressive on his recent workout videos. The accident shouldn't reflect this list, but who knows. Moving on to the top 5, we have Alexander Usyk. Usyk just recently cemented his place in the heavyweight division and is lined up to fight any of the top 3 guys, and he isn't shying away from those fights. As a matter of fact, he wants those fights as soon as possible. It's debatable whether Usyk should prove himself in the division, but he's a fan favorite, and most argue he can actually beat some of the top guys. At number 4, we have one of the guys Usyk is looking to face, and that's the Gypsy King, Tyson Fury. Personally, I would put Fury higher on the list after that impressive TKO over Wilder a few months back. I don't think anyone in the division wants to go against this guy. What's both scary and impressive about Fury is his comeback story, overcoming drug addiction, mental issues, and weight gain. Fury returned and called out all the top guys, starting with Wilder. After a controversial draw in the first fight, Fury came back and did exactly as he said with a TKO victory over Wilder. Number 3 is the Matrix, aka Neo, aka Vasyl Lomachenko. Lomachenko is in everyone's top pound-for-pound list and is in the most exciting division in boxing, the 135-pound division. What makes Lomachenko unique is his combination of defense and offense. The former gold medalist avoids and counterpunches unlike anyone we've ever seen. 3 guys in his foreseeable future are Devin Haney, Gervonta Davis, and Teofimo Lopez. I'm sure Stevenson wants a piece of the action eventually too. At number 2, we have the cash cow of the sport and the pride of Mexico, Canelo Alvarez. At 29 years old, Canelo already has a legendary resume with victories over Kovalev, Danny Jacobs, Triple G, Khan, Cotto, Lara, and the list just goes on and on. After his knockout win over an older Kovalev, Canelo cemented his place in history. I personally would put him number 1 in the list after that victory, but again, this isn't my list. At his number 1 slot, Stevenson placed his top-ranked mate and friend, Terence Crawford. Crawford is number 1 in a lot of people's list, and is a 3-division champion. He's had impressive victories over Khan, Benavidez, Horn, and Gamboa. His ability to adapt and change his style and stance in the middle of a fight is what makes him dangerous. It's hard to say whether he goes above Spence, but there's no question on his position in the pound-for-pound list. Stevenson did say you can switch Canelo and Bud. Either can be in that number 1 slot depending on the day. Well, there you have it. The top 10 pound-for-pound list for Shakur Stevenson. I'd love to see more lists like this from a fighter's perspective. It's safe to say they are much more of an expert than us in the media side. Until next time, this is Ash with Fight Bulletin.